Hey there, boys and girls, it's Dice back again, and today I have a little treat for you. My next prototype for Domain came in the mail today. Well, not today. This is actually later than it came. But since I have the latest prototype here, I figured this was a good time to make a how to play video. So today, I will be teaching you guys how to play Domain. Now you're going to notice this is a lot like Magic. Start with a hand of 7 cards, each player. And then, here's where things get interesting. You deal out 5 cards face down for each player. These are basically like your life. Not quite, but that's the role they play. What these are your territories. And the game is going to be all about attacking these things and getting rid of your opponents. So whoever loses all their territories first is the one who loses the game. Now, let's see our opening hands. There's not a whole lot of mulliganing in Domain. And we'll explain why that is when I take my first turn here. So let's start with this guy. Now, of course, we go by the first person doesn't draw rule, just like Magic does. So, on your turn, you would draw a card, refresh your units, that's our word for untap, and then you go into your build phase. Now you'll notice on each of these cards, you got your card name, you got the cost right there, same notation as Magic. You got your type lines, notice our spells also have subtypes, what it does, and then you got this, the resource mode. This takes the place of lands in the game. So what we're going to do is this deck is going to play Mind Whip in resource mode. So it's upside down here. And then we're going to expend it, which means turn it sideways, which gives us enough supplies, blue supplies specifically, as you can see here, to play the Ocean Reach Oracle. Now, if you'll notice, we've got our expend symbol here. Whenever you see that, that means to turn it sideways. And of course, once it's turned sideways, you can't turn it more sideways until, it gets refreshed. So that's expended. And the Ocean Reach Oracle comes into play. And you see it has a deploy ability here. Now, deploy abilities, whenever these come into play, if it has a deploy ability, you do that immediately. So we're going to look at the top 5 cards and put them back in any order. And let's see, we don't need one of those. Let's put this up in the front. I don't like him. Okay. And that'll be it for the first turn. Now, our second player will take their turn. And since they're the second player, they'll draw. And you might notice some of the art's kind of goofy looking. It's all placeholder. Well, almost all of it. Some of it's finalized, but not all. Now here's the little thing, is that we have in these basic units. Now, much like in Magic, if you have a basic land, you can have as many in your deck as you want. Same goes for basic cards in Domain, except basic can be pretty much anything. Or rather, anything can be basic. Right now, there's just units that are basic, but they help you fill out your deck, even if they're a little underpowered. So we're going to play him as a resource there and pass the turn because his cards cost a little higher. Now next turn we draw, we refresh, and what else have we got? Now we'll play a resource, and now you might be thinking, oh, you've got a clear shot, you can take a swing at the territories. Well, no, not quite. The thing is, these face down territories up here, each one counts as a 0-2. Territories have strength and size just like these. That's what this number is. First one strength, second one size. Basically how much it deals in combat and how much it takes to destroy it. Because we're dealing in a larger, what's the word I'm looking for? Larger scales than Magic. This isn't two wizards dueling. This is two civilizations marching their armies against each other. That's why it's size, the size of your unit. So we could attack one of his territories, but it wouldn't do much because it only has one strength, or oracle. So we're going to pass the turn again, go to our next guy, and let's see, still don't have much to do, but here's what we can do. We're going to play this card as a resource, which has a special resource mode. You can see it has two different resources there, and to offset that, it enters the field expended. So we're going to set that there. We can't play anything this turn, so it doesn't really matter if it's expended or not. It'll be ready for us next turn, and we'll pass the turn back to this side. So we're going to play that as a resource and expend all our resources there and play the Abyssal Gatekeepers. Again, placeholder art. But these are our Jinn. This is what the genies look like in this game, more or less. They're elemental beings. So you see it has this lightning weakness and the water subtype. Now by themselves, the water subtype, any subtype, doesn't really mean much. It only exists to interact with other things. So the lightning weakness is a special thing. It's a little drawback that lets us amp up the power of the cards in exchange for a little weakness that can be exploited. So that's why he's a 4/4 with flying. So he's a little bit above the curve for 3 supplies there. And now, of course, whenever your cards come into play, your units specifically, they're considered mobilizing. So mobilizing lasts until your next turn with them in play, just like Summoning Sickness. It's the same thing. So we're gonna move on. And now we're at a point where we can actually do something. So we are going to, let's play this as resource. And since the Abyssal Gatekeepers has a lightning weakness, we can take advantage of this little spell because it's a lightning spell. Now when something with weakness takes damage from something with a subtype that it's weak to, it kills it immediately. It only needs 1 damage to destroy it. It's kind of like Death Touch, but backwards. So we're gonna expend 1 supply there and cast a lightning jolt on the Abyssal Gatekeepers, and that'll knock them out. And they both go to the scrapyards. Now we've got a couple extra supplies ready. So we're gonna expend another one and play a Storm Cleaver and equipment. Now you'll see it's an artifact. It has lightning, equipment, weapon, subtypes. It's strategic, which is a little thing that means you can only activate its abilities during your build phases. So it's kind of a way around the awkward wording in Magic of saying activate this only anytime you could cast a sorcery or whatever. Stuff like that. And another little streamlined thing, got the, instead of saying equip this, we actually use the attach wording, which can be used for both spells and artifacts, or really anything, I suppose. And it's just instead of having attach and enchant, and you know they both kind of function differently, attach is just a generic wording for put this on another thing. So we'll pass the turn back. Hopefully I'll actually get to kill something or destroy a territory at some point. So we're gonna resource again. And we'll use that to play an Eastport Infiltrator and pass the turn back. Now let's see. This is a slow moving deck here. I don't think we're gonna need another Storm Cleaver, so we'll resource that. That's one of the, the interesting plays about the resource system, is that you have to kind of play risk versus reward with it. You know, you could pick any card you want to resource, but you have to pick the right color. You have to say, am I going to need this card to play later? Is it a good card? Do I want to resource it? Do I want to dump a good card now so I can play another card later, right now? Or do I want to wait to get the right colors later on and keep my good card? There's a lot of play between that. And that's what I really like about it. You have to think ahead. I've got 4, let's see. We'll just go for it for the sake of expediency. We're gonna play a Bad Breath here. This spell deals 2 damage to each unit target player controls. Expend each unit dealt damage this way. So that will kill the Oracle outright. And the Infiltrator has 3 size, and since he takes 2 damage, he'll survive, but he's expended. And that's all his resources for the turn, so next turn. And Infiltrator comes back up. No, I'm not playing optimally, by the way. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can into this video. So, we're going to skip our first build phase and attack one of the territories. We'll make it this one. So, since he has 2 strength, he'll deal 2 damage to this. Since he's not blocked, and since it's 0-2, it gets destroyed. Now, when your territories are face down like this, whenever one gets destroyed, it goes into your hand, and you get an extra card there. So, in our rebuild phase, the one that comes after combat, which there is, we're going to play another Infiltrator. Actually, I just messed that up. Infiltrator has a little ability that I forgot about it. When this unit destroys a face-down territory, that card goes to the scrapyard instead of its owner's hand. So, sorry, red-green dude, you don't get this. But anyways, that's his turn. Next turn, let's see. We don't really need this one, so we'll play that. And we'll play one of our basic units, our Trells, which is portmanteau of a tree and a troll, and they're tree people. And let's see, what else can we do? Not much else. Actually, there is something we can do. We are going to attach the Stormcleaver to the Trell Defender, so that will give him +2/+0 and the Lightning subtype. Then we'll pass the turn. And refresh all our cards. No. Didn't shuffle this very well when I'm drawing 3 infiltrators. Okay. Well, since they've got a creature to block with now, let's go ahead and attack right into it. Now each of these guys will attack a different territory. And he can only block 1. So we'll block this dude, and he'll attack that thing. Damage is dealt to creatures or units first. So he deals 2, and he deals 4. He takes 3 and dies. He takes 2 and lives. Then damage is dealt to territories. He deals 2. This one is destroyed, and because of his ability, it goes to the scrapyard. Now, this guy is going to play a card called Urban Sprawl, which is a territory of its own. So territories are an actual card type. And whenever you play a territory, your opponent has to destroy that in order to win the game. It goes right up with your other ones, the face down ones. So this one has a deploy ability, so when it comes into play, I have to sacrifice another territory, which sounds bad, but it means the card goes right into my hand. And if you'll notice, it has 0.4 for strength and size, so it's actually double the size of your other ones, meaning it's harder to kill. So now that that's done, we'll pass the turn. And let's see. Oh, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resources. We'll play that as a resource. Then we'll attack the Urban Sprawl territory with our Trell Defender. And since he deals 4, this takes 4. It's not face down, so it goes to the scrapyard. Then after that, we'll expend all of our resources to play a Horned Behemoth. And pass the turn to the other guy. Alright, we got a new one here. So let's play a resource. And we'll play a Swamp Menace here. And we got a few resources left. We'll expend another one to play another Oracle, and then look at the top 5 like we did before, and put them back however I like. And since he's got a 6/6 in play, we're just gonna skip combat this time. And next turn. Okay. So let's do some calculation here. We got a 6-6 and a 4-3. He has a 2-3, a 1-2, and a 1-2. But the 1-2 can get bigger for one black supply there. So let's see. We will cast our Lightning Jolt on the Eastport Infiltrator. Take him out. Then we'll attack 2 different territories there. Now the Horned Behemoth has the Trample ability, which functions mostly the same as in Magic. It's pretty much word for word, except instead of dealing damage to players, all the damage goes through the blockers, and any excess is dealt to the territory. So there's not much point in blocking that. Eventually, one way or another, he's probably going to get 2 damage through and destroy the territory no matter what. And you'll lose creatures in the process, or units rather. So both these guys are going to block the defender. And we're going to pay 1 black supply there to pump this up by 1-1. So we've got a 2-3 and a 1-2 blocking a 4-3. So they deal 3 damage to him. He will die. He'll deal 4 damage to these guys. And we'll prioritize the Swamp Menace. He absorbs 3 of it. 1 more goes through to the Oracle. Swamp Menace dies. Oracle lives. And the Behemoth, all its damage goes through. Territory is destroyed. And an extra card goes in the hand. This game's actually going fairly quick compared to most of my other ones. Alright. Now what we're going to do is this guy is going to play the Red Ridge Peak. Now this is another territory. It's got 4 size right there. It's got strategic, so its abilities can only be activated on your build phases. And it's got this little ability for 5 stock, and expend it. It can deal 5 damage to a unit or territory. So this guy is basically a Death Star. It's a big old volcano that you can shoot at people. And we're gonna pass the turn. Next turn, we'll start blowing up territories with that guy. If we can. Thing about territories is that you have to be able to protect them. Now that we have Abyssal Gatekeepers in play again, the Red Ridge Peak is in a little bit of trouble. So we're going to play him, and then we'll play another Oracle and check the top 5. And we'll do it like so. Put it back. And let's see. We'll pass the turn then. And this guy is getting a little thin on useful cards here. So, fortunately for this guy, let's keep the double one open. Red Ridge Peak can destroy units. So he's going to blast the gatekeepers away. Too bad he didn't have any protection for those guys. And then I'm going to follow up with a behemoth attack on one of the territories. So we're not going to bother blocking it. We'll just take the extra card and hope for the best. And he'll pass the turn. We'll draw. Let's see, we're at 5 resources here. Let's play one more and make it 6. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna play Sinkhole. Sound familiar? It's not exactly what you were thinking, was it? So this will destroy target unit or face-up territory. Bye-bye Red Ridge Peak, good riddance. And now we specify face-up territory, of course. You can't destroy one of these things and just outright win the game by blasting them away. Not with that card, at least. And let's see, we've actually got a clear shot to one of the territories, so this guy's going to take it with both of his oracles and hit one territory at the same time. And this guy got another behemoth. So in our rebuild phase, we'll play one more card, Mercenary Contract. This is an artifact with a deploy ability there. When it comes out, it creates 2 tokens. And by the way, basic units double as tokens in this game. We've got extra ones in the decks, so you can just bring those right in. Now, they follow the same rules as tokens in Magic do. Once they're destroyed or they leave the game, they don't go to the graveyard or the scrapyard. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. They function as basic units and everything else. And you'll notice it also has a second ability. It'll let you pump up your basic units for 3 supplies. So, on to this guy's turn here. And would you look at that? We've won. Here's what we're going to do. Horned Behemoth is going to attack one of their territories. Doesn't matter how much they block with. Let's just block with both of them. They'll get destroyed. 4 damage goes through to the territory. It's destroyed. Gets an extra card there. Then we can cast Crumble. Destroy target artifact or territory. And that's any territory, not just face-up territories. This guy can blow you out on your last one. And that's it. That's game, boys. I actually got through a whole game in like half an hour. I'm surprised. Usually it takes a long time to do this. Maybe it's just because I was focused instead of watching YouTube or something. So anyways, I hope you liked the demonstration. Leave me some feedback. Tell me what you think about Domain. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more Domain. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.